So it's Friday, November 3rd, and I've got a case, I've got actually 2 cases this morning at one of my hospitals in Virginia. Right next to this hospital is a mall, and a mall with an Apple store. So my plan is still leaving early, going to the mall, gonna see what the situation looks out front of the Apple store, because the Apple iPhone 10 comes out today. If there's not a huge line outside of the Apple store, then I'm gonna sit in line and hopefully get a phone. If there is a line, I don't care that much. I pre-ordered it. It'll be here in a couple weeks. But I'm going anyway. You know, I have to get down that way, and rather than sitting in my car for 3 hours, 4 hours waiting for a case to start, might as well see if I can swing by the Apple store, see what happens. Wish me luck. Verizon, what the hell? So I am so incredibly frustrated with Verizon. I am so infuriated right now with Verizon. Verizon, what are you doing to your loyal customers? You are absolutely killing me. Ugh. So you're probably wondering why am I so frustrated with Verizon when the first part of this vlog was about me going to the mall to get the new iPhone 10 and stand in line at the Apple store. So I get to the mall at about 6:15. I get in there, there's probably 100 people already in line, which shocked me a little bit. Maybe that's foolish of me for it to surprise me that much. I mean, people used to camp out for these things a week in advance, but I'm actually surprised I'm there as early as I am, and there's already 100 people in line. That said, I get in line. Apple has some of the best employees, their sales staff, their customer service experience is absolutely wonderful. You have Apple guys walking around with carts of water, oranges, apples, breakfast bars, and talking to one of them, they're not even the slightest concern with how many people are in line and what their inventory currently looks like. So knowing that, I'm comfortable standing there. The store opens at 8. I'm gonna stand in line till 8, and I'm gonna walk out of there with the new iPhone 10. So at about 7:45, lots more chatter going on. You can tell the store is getting ready to open. I noticed right next to where I'm standing, and I don't know why I didn't notice it in the hour and a half I was standing there, there's one lone guy sitting right in front of a Verizon store. And as I start to kind of pay attention, I realize Verizon has some iPhones. And by the time I decide to make this jump from being probably a number 100 to 120 in line, I jump over to the Verizon line. I'm number 4 in line, and I'm almost guaranteed I'm gonna get a phone. And 8 o'clock, the gates go up. I walk into the Verizon store. I'm partnered with a Verizon associate, and he asks for my ID, he asks for my cell phone number, which I provide him, puts in my number and says, uh-oh, looks like your account's locked from being upgraded. He said, did you pre-order a phone? I said, yeah, I did. I pre-ordered the 10 through Apple when pre-order started, but it won't be here till December. So if I need to go in, I can quickly access my Apple store and hit cancel on the account and be good to go, and I'll show you that I canceled it. So he said, all right, we might need to take care of that. And I said, well, the one thing I'll let you know is I'm planning on just paying full retail price for this phone. I don't want to do anything crazy. The phone's $1,200. I'm gonna buy it outright. He said, well, that's gonna be an issue. And so to backtrack, I've been a Verizon customer for probably 10 years plus. I love Verizon service. Their customer service has been great. I've had almost zero issues with Verizon. Because I've been with them so long, I still have the original unlimited plan. This plan is truly unlimited. I could turn on Hulu, stream it for a week, and if I used 100 gigabytes, it wouldn't cost me any extra. Verizon did away with this plan years ago, and the only way they got you off of it is if you did an upgrade and took advantage of like a $99 phone, if you wanted to make any changes to your plan. I've had to create sub-accounts. Those other two phones, my wife and my son's phones are on sub-accounts because I couldn't touch this unlimited plan. So Verizon's been trying to get me to get off of this plan forever. I've been resistant because I wanted unlimited. You did away with it. And yes, unlimited's back, but it's my understanding that it's not the same. It's unlimited with a catch. It's unlimited once you get to 20 gigs. And if I'm wrong about this, don't beat me up in the comments. Once you get to 20 gigs, they potentially can throttle your service, switch it from LTE to 3G, and make sure that, yes, it's unlimited, but with a catch. That's what I don't like. I like the unlimited plan I'm at. I want to stay on the plan I'm at. And because I want to do that, I'm willing to pay full retail price for my phones. So I've gone down this route of buying my phones outright because if I do that, I don't have to adjust my plan. But as I'm talking to the Verizon associate, he tells me that Verizon no longer offers the ability to buy phones outright. Is this a tactic to get me off of the unlimited plan? Maybe. Is this just their new business model? Maybe. But Verizon, why don't you if I walked into a dealership with $30,000 in cash and told them I wanted to buy a car, they'd sell me a car. They wouldn't tell me I had to lease it or finance it. They'd sell me a car. You have cell phones. I want to buy a cell phone and I'm willing to pay full retail price. Why not give me that option? Yes, I know you want me off this plan, and I'll tell you, if you come out with something better than the unlimited plan I'm on, I'll switch. But right now, you don't have something better than what I already have. This would be like if Apple released a phone that the processor was slower, it didn't have as much RAM, didn't have as much memory, and the camera wasn't as good as the current camera. Why would you upgrade? You wouldn't. You'd stick with what you have. The reason I haven't switched is you don't have something better than what I have. When you have that, I'll switch. But for now, I'm sticking with the plan I have. I just want to buy a phone outright. So I've gone off on this tangent because I got myself in a position where I got out of the line I was in, got into another line to get the phone, and now Verizon won't sell it to me. So I walk out of the mall, no phone. I'm not going to go back and get in the Apple line that's now 200 people deep. So really upset with you, Verizon. I've been a loyal customer forever. I'm not going anywhere. Just leave me alone when it comes to my plan. Or come out with something better than what I have. The way you entice somebody to make a change is to make the value better than what they already have. And right now, you don't have anything where the value's better than what I currently have. So I'm not changing my plan. And now I'm gonna have to buy the phone through Apple, bring it back to you, have you activate it. I'm still here, and you didn't accomplish anything. You could have sold me the phone. I'm gonna get it one way or the other, and I'm still gonna have the unlimited plan. Like, seriously? Come on, Verizon, get your shit together. Apple, thanks for being so great this morning. I'm just bummed I got out of line. I do have one ace in my pocket. Will, I hope you get me that phone. Apparently people in Richmond don't show up early at the Apple store and there's no line. So maybe I'll get one today anyway. To be continued. So it's Saturday. It's been 24 hours since yesterday's debacle with Verizon and trying to get an iPhone went down. I've had time to sleep on it. I've cooled off. Still a little annoyed with Verizon. Annoyed with myself that I got out of the line. I mentioned how I was still hopeful that my buddy Will in Richmond would come through with a phone. Unfortunately, Apple requires you be there in person. FaceTime isn't allowed. So all the events that happened, I've had time to chill out and I'm kind of over it. That said, I'm headed to the airport, I'm going to New York, and I'm getting an iPhone. Oh, one more thing. I have to go to New York for work, so I'm not a total crazy person. I'm not getting on a plane, flying to New York just because I located one iPhone 10 up in New York. That's crazy, come on. Did you really think I'd fly to New York just for an iPhone? Maybe. Made it through security, headed to the gate now. We're good to go. Plane is boarding in about 15 minutes, so I'm good to go. New York, here I go.
Without half and alone, happily control, happily control. You without have no soul.
So I made it to Soho Apple Store and I acquired the phone. I'm not gonna stand out here for too long with it. I'm gonna jump into a Uber and get to my hotel, but I've landed, I have it, stay tuned. So I didn't get to put the finishing touches on this vlog while I was up in New York. I was up there for work. After I got the device, and I did get the device, I had to go to a work meeting, ended up catching up with Will, who was the guy that was gonna get me the phone down in Richmond, but that fell apart. Him and I and his wife ended up going out and ended up being a late night. New York is a fun city, so I didn't get to finish this properly while I was there, so I wanted to do that now. This was an interesting experience trying to get this phone, different than my other experiences. Maybe it's because it was such a big release for Apple, but you know, I was very upset initially at Verizon with their policy on not selling the phone outright. Then I was a little frustrated that Apple wouldn't sell my buddy the phone because I wasn't there in person, which I get. But this experience with getting up Saturday morning at 6 a.m., I got up about 6:40 or 5:45, went onto Apple's site and put in the zip code of where I wanted to search for a phone, which was New York. I hit search, it pulled up the Soho store. I reserved the phone. It emailed me a QRC code, which I walked in, they scanned, and within 15 minutes of walking into that store, I was out with a new device. It was such an easy process. Moving forward, it's probably the process I'm gonna follow. I think seeing how that worked talks volumes about Apple and their customer service and their employees. They just, it's top notch. The experience of going into an Apple store, even with the chaos going on around it, was just phenomenal. So hats off to Apple. Kind of just re-energizes why I am such a big fanboy of the company and why I stick with their products, even though I think some of their hardware is always playing catch up. Talk about that in another vlog, but I don't think I'm going anywhere. Something interesting that happened while I was there, so I walk out of the Apple store after rushing there from the airport, waiting for an Uber to take me to my hotel, and this huge Cadillac pulls up on the corner of where I'm standing, and we're in downtown Soho. Somebody steps out of the front of the vehicle, looks like Secret Service or security. They've got an earpiece in. They walk to the back of the car. They open the door. Another guy gets out. He's wearing a generator on his back, and he pulls out a vacuum cleaner, hooks it up to the generator, and starts vacuuming the sidewalk. I'm thinking this is going to be some type of commercial for Dyson. I had noticed beforehand there were photographers all around the corner. And as soon as this started going on, a crowd started to build. And they open the door again, and out steps Coco, Ice-T's wife. And she's talking to the paparazzi, and she's talking about how she's going shopping. It was chaos. But I'd been in New York at this point for 30 minutes, and this is already what I'm seeing and going through. It's just, New York is bananas. I don't know how people live there, but at the same time, I see why people live there. There's always something going on. So that's it. That's the vlog. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for seeing the story of trying to get this iPhone 10. It was absolutely nuts. But I got it. Talk to you later.
Oh my god, what's your shopping for?